Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and welcome to our Westchester Weekly Update. It's Monday, December 5th, and as we enter into the holiday season and we enter into the county budget season, we're happy to give you a quick update on some of the issues that are happening here in Westchester County. This is going to be a relatively brief report as reports go. Most of the information are things that will come out over the course of the next week to 10 days, and the Westchester County Board of Legislators is right now dealing with the proposed county budget for 2023. More on that in a little bit. I'll be joined in a few minutes by Deputy County Executive Ken Jenkins, who will help, as he always does, in sharing some of the information to share with you. And we have a special guest who will be joining us in just a second. I'll bring it to the podium in a moment, and that is Natalia Fernandez, who is a state senator-elect representing a district that includes both Bronx and Westchester County. Senator Fernandez is currently Assemblywoman Fernandez, representing a district wholly within the Bronx, but come January 1st, she's going to be representing all of the town of Pelham, both of the two villages, Pelham Village and Pelham Manor Village, and the southern section of the city of New Rochelle. So we'll be happy to have her come to the podium in a few seconds. I do want to update, as we begin the report, with a COVID update. Now, you know that over the last number of weeks, I have not highlighted the COVID numbers on a weekly basis. We've taken the attitude that these updates, which began as COVID updates 2.5 years ago, became less essential for us to report on it because the incidence of the disease had dropped to sort of a manageable level of normal operations. We've seen some uptick in the last week, and I want to be candid and let you know that that is the case. It is not by any means coming back to a crisis standpoint, but we have been waiting to see if we get what has happened in the past 2 winters as we enter into the cold season, a rise in the number of active cases, a rise in the number of hospitalizations and fatalities. We're watching a little bit of an uptick in the last week, so we thought we'd mention it to you, which means, again, sort of our own due diligence as individuals. Make sure you're vaccinated. If you're in some way compromised, your immune system is compromised, you're of an advanced age, take those extra precautions, wear a mask, try to avoid large settings if you fall into those categories. We know that the holiday season, which really began with Thanksgiving, all of us around the Thanksgiving table, puts us in contact with more people, and because we're indoors now more frequently, somewhat more vulnerable to the disease. The numbers that we want to share very briefly is, as of yesterday, Sunday, December 4th, we had 2,645 active cases of coronavirus in Westchester County. Now, in a county of 1 million people, that number is fairly small, 2,600. What's important is the week before, that number was 1,968. So we've had net 700 more active cases in the span of a week, and that's significant. That's over a third increase over where we were a week ago. And to show you that it hadn't been this way previously, if you go back a month ago, Sunday, November 6th, we had 1,963 cases, only 5 cases different between a week ago and a month ago. So something has happened in the last week, and we're going to monitor it and let you know where else we go. The most important trackable figure is what's happening to the people who are hospitalized. You can get the disease, as I got it a year ago in December of last year, and work it through in your system and be home and maybe miss a day or 2 of work and then isolate for the rest of time. When a person is seriously sick, then they need hospitalization. The hospitalization numbers represent the severity of the disease. The current number is 210 people hospitalized in Westchester County. A week ago, that was 174. A month ago, that was 158. So if that becomes a trend that continues to grow, we'll share that with you, and we take actions accordingly. However, the number of fatalities actually dropped. In the last week, we lost 4 people to coronavirus. If you go back a week prior to that, we lost 7 people in that week, and the month ago in that week, we lost 8 people. And I think what that probably tells me, although it's hard to generalize over just a few numbers, is once again, if you're vaccinated, you have the best ability to fight the disease off. You might be hospitalized, but if you're vaccinated, what it does, the vaccine does, is it stimulates your antibodies to fight off the disease, the invasion of the virus. And even if you're sick, visibly sick, that's an example of your antibodies fighting off the disease, and you recover and you don't suffer fatality. The whole mission here is to avoid our neighbors from dying from this disease. And so we're hopeful that whatever increase there may be in active cases, whatever increase there may be in hospitalizations, it doesn't manifest itself in significant number of additional fatalities. Every fatality is a tragedy. I say this every time so that you understand that we never undervalue the value of a life. But we have seen an increase in active cases, an increase in number of people that are hospitalized. Be aware that coronavirus is still with us, even if it's at a lower level. Let's hope it stabilizes again and starts to drop back. We are doing a community vaccination clinic for the flu vaccine and the COVID-19 bivalent boosters together, both the flu and the COVID-19 booster shots. You can get either one of them at the upcoming clinic, and it's right almost in the backyard of our new senator's area. It's at the New Rochelle Boys and Girls Club, the Mascaro Center, which is 79 7th Avenue, 7th Street, I should say, in New Rochelle, in the west end of New Rochelle, very proximate to the borderline of Pelham, easy to access. That's going to be from 11:30 to 2:30 on Wednesday of this week, Wednesday, December 7th. So there is a community vaccination clinic in the west end of New Rochelle Boys and Girls Club, Mascaro Center, 11:30 to 2:30 this coming Wednesday, and we encourage you to use that for vaccination purposes. There are many other places you can be vaccinated with the bivalent booster. You can get it through your doctor, hospital, federally qualified neighborhood health center all across Westchester County region. But if you are not fully vaccinated, take that effort and do that. We understand there's philosophical reasons why some people don't want to be vaccinated. I'm not here to argue the issue. I'm fully vaccinated. I've had no negative reaction to it, and the vast majority of people are in the same category, and it protects you from the worst possible effects of COVID. We'll keep an eye on what happens with our numbers. So I wanted to report that at the top of the report, but next I'd like to go to our friend who is now going to be the newest member of our state delegation. We share her with the borough of the Bronx, but we share a lot of things with the Bronx. You know, I'd always like to point out I went to college in the Bronx, and first full-time job was in the Bronx. So we have great feelings here in Westchester for our neighbors from the Bronx. She is a Bronx resident. She has served in the New York State Assembly for 2 terms. She's now moved up to the state Senate. She's had other governmental responsibilities before, and she's a woman with great youth and energy. So we're very happy to introduce to you Senator-elect Natalia Fernandez. Madam Senator, welcome to our microphones.
Thank you so much. Greetings, Westchester County. It is an honor to speak before you today at the weekly meeting. I am extremely excited to start now as the newest member of the Westchester delegation. Westchester is near and dear, as it is to the Bronx, and with the partnership of our county legislator, our deputy legislator, and the many public servants that we have in Westchester County, I know that we will continue to make Westchester a beacon of hope and direction as to how New York can continue to progress in the ways of helping working families, our seniors, our youth, and making sure that everyone has a chance to succeed. I am no stranger to Westchester County, so this is a delightful return, as I am a high school graduate of Westchester, North Salem High School. But come January 1st, I will be your official senator, and I welcome you please to reach out to me. We do not have a legislative office just yet, but you will be able to contact me via email, via phone, and via social media. So if you'd like, please follow me today, Fernandez4NY, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and reach out. Let me know what is going on in your part of New Rochelle or Pelham, so we can get right to work to resolving the issues that beg. And on the state level, please let me know your thoughts. Please let me know your feelings. Please let me know your ideas. I'm ready to work for you and for the people, and together we can truly push New York to the limit of greatness. So thank you so much, County Legislator. It's an honor to be here, and I look forward to serving Westchester County.
Thanks very much, Natalia. It's a pleasure to have you with us. That's Senator-elect, Assemblywoman currently Natalia Fernandez, who represents 34th District,
yes,
is the number 34th Senate District, Westchester County, and the Bronx. Anywhere in the town of Pelham, Senator Fernandez will be your senator. In New Rochelle, it is in essence the area that's south of I-95, between I-95 and the Long Island Sound. It would include neighborhoods such as Premium Point Park, Sutton Manor, all of the apartments along Pelham Road or Shore Road in the common vernacular, the Residence Park, the Sycamore Park neighborhood, and all of the growth in downtown New Rochelle, those major buildings. Almost all of them are just south of the railroad tracks. Those are all part of the Senator's District, and you'll get to see her and know her at many community events. We've seen her already any number of times, and we look forward to seeing her again. And so again, thank you for being with us, Senator. I should point out she is one of 4 new members of the delegation that Westchester is sending to Albany. Since I myself have served in both the Assembly and the Senate, it is a great honor to represent this area in New York State in the legislature. And the legislature represents people from all across the state. There are many representatives of the different boroughs of New York City, from Long Island, from different parts of upstate, the western part of the state, North Country, and central New York. And they're all different in their own concerns and issues, and the representatives that they send, you're in a large body of people, 150 in the Assembly, 63 in the Senate, to debate and discuss and so forth. Senator Fernandez joins us for the first time as a senator. We also have 3 new members of the State Assembly who reside in Westchester County. New Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg has taken the place of longtime Assemblywoman Sandy Galiff. I had the pleasure of serving with Sandy both in the state legislature and the county legislature. County Legislator Mary Jane Shimsky is moving up to the State Assembly. She's taken the seat that was previously held by Tom Abenanti, and of course Mary Jane has been active in the county government over the last number of years, and now taking on her responsibilities in the Assembly. And Matt Slater, who is currently the Town Supervisor of Yorktown, will be, as of January 1st, representing a district that's in the northern part of Westchester. It includes a significant portion of Putnam County, so Yorktown, Somers, North Salem communities are part of that Assembly district that cross the border. So we welcome them. We're going to invite each of them to come join us over the course of the weeks to come, even as we also continue to invite our municipal officials. I should point out as well, those village elections that were held on Election Day, November 8th, the village officials are being sworn in this week on various days of the week in their various villages. Tonight, village trustees are going to be sworn into office in the village of Mamaroneck, the new mayor and village trustees in the village of Larchmont. There are others out there. Dobbs Ferry, I believe, organizes tonight as well. And then come January 1st, those elected to the state legislature, to the federal legislature, House of Representatives, and then also those who fill unexpired terms in town council or city council seats. There's about 5 or 6 of them this year, will also take their office. So there's always a certain amount of turnover in these jobs. Sometimes it's unplanned, sometimes it's planned. And whatever happens, we greet our fellow colleagues. And we're not, in this venue, particularly concerned about their political affiliation. We look forward to working with whoever the voters have sent into public office to try to accomplish our missions. So with that, we thank the Senator for her appearance today. Now, Ken Jenkins will join me as we get into the meat of what we're doing. Again, not a heavy report today. We'll touch on a few things. First of all, Westchester County, as most municipalities do, has a series of boards and commissions where we invite volunteers to come and serve as appointed members on a specific topic area. And that particular issue area can range from land use issues to ethnic advisory boards to those that have very, very specialized areas of responsibility for the plumbing industry and for the heating and electrical industry. And a lot of these boards and commissions have been locked into the county charter. Some of them have been created by executive order or by act of the legislature signed in by myself or a predecessor. But with all of these different things, we view the boards and commissions of Westchester County to be an essential part of getting input from people in our local government, in our local community, and inviting those people to serve in those boards and commissions, having them discuss and debate in monthly meetings with other colleagues what represents the best public policy that we should pursue. It's ultimately the authority of the Board of Legislators and the executive branch to implement some of these policies, but we look to these boards and commissions as a voice in local government, and it's a very important voice. The way we have structured our boards and commissions during this administration is that those seats that expire in a period of time all expire on December 31st of that year. Most of these boards have staggered memberships. In a classic example, if there are 9 members on the board, 3 seats expire at the end of 2022, 3 expire at the end of 23, and 3 expire at the end of 24, so you have some continuity. And then the appointments of those positions are filled, whether they're reappointments of an existing person or bringing somebody new into the mix to keep that board going. You can see a list of all of our boards and commissions on the Westchester County website. our westchestergov.com website. There's a description, the responsibilities, the term length and vacancies, along with a link to apply. And that's the important element of us raising this thing. We welcome your interest in participating in any of these boards and commissions. It may be true that a particular board that you have the greatest amount of interest in has a full membership at present. There's no open slots for which you might be able to serve, but you can certainly attend the meetings that these boards hold. They hold them in person now in the aftermath of the COVID crisis, but from time to time, those meetings are held out in the field. They're not necessarily held in an office building. In fact, the Parks Board makes it a point of going out to different parks to hold their meetings around the county. So you'll have a chance to interact and learn something of the board or the commission that's involved, and perhaps your interest in that area. We want you to express that interest. You can do it online. You can contact us here. We'll use the general email box that our communications people provide, communications@westchestergov.com, and we'll refer it over to Ellen Hendricks, who's our Director of Research here on our executive team. She also has responsibility for managing the flow of boards and commissions. But as you may know from the community that you live in, most local communities have land use boards, planning boards, zoning boards, some other ones, architecture review boards, landmark advisory boards that deal with issues of land use in the community. And those have real authority and power. Some of the boards that we have at the county level also have real authority and power. Our Parks Board has to approve any changes we make in rates. They have input on who is selected to head commissioner of Parks Department, as does our Transportation Board with the head of the transportation functions for the county. So some of the boards have more authority than others. There are boards that represent ethnic communities or special designated groups that we think we want to get advice from. We have those that represent the Arab American community, the Asian American community, the Hispanic community, the African American community. And we have boards as well that deal with seniors, with women, with the LGBTQ community, with the disabled community. And in each one of these cases, as they meet and discuss these issues, they give us advice about policies, things that may be symbolic, celebrations, if you will, in some cases, very substantive actions that we have to take to deal with them. So all of those are out there as a possibility, and we welcome your involvement in our boards and commissions. And this is the timely time to do it as we approach the end of the year and the changeover in some of the memberships. Westchester County Planning Department has awarded $287,000 in CDBG funds for food service programs. Bright Blue Mobile Food Pantry will now be working the streets of Portchester and Ossining, in thanks to community development block grant funds, which were awarded through the Department of Planning. Caritas of Portchester, which is a neighborhood soup kitchen and food pantry, which gives to anyone in need, was awarded this money to purchase the van. They'll be using the van for home deliveries of groceries, for fresh produce and meals to those who are unable to access a food pantry in the Portchester and the Ossining communities. This is just one of the many programs that we've done by reestablishing the CDBG block grant program. That this program had fallen apart. The federal government canceled Westchester's involvement in it due to other controversies that existed around a decade or so ago. We were able to reestablish that program within the first year of our tenure 5 years ago, and now it's providing funding to those municipalities that participate in the program, money that comes in from the federal government to do good things like this group. We've used it for, in this particular case, to purchase the truck itself, to staff logistics coordinators to help organize the way that this stuff gets to market, a refrigerated container for truck storage, shelving, mats, bins for food storage inside the truck, all those little necessities that are part of this. And well, right now, Portchester and Ossining are the two communities that are going to be served by this particular grant. The door is open for other such programs. Keep in mind the four major cities in Westchester County, White Plains, New Rochelle, Yonkers, and Mount Vernon, have their own established community development block grant programs. The county has created an urban county consortium that allows the other communities, the smaller communities of Westchester County, that may be as small as Buchanan, or they could be towns with 30, 40,000 people, but not as large as the four major cities, to be able to participate in the CDBG program through the county as a conduit for both applying for the funds and then dispersing the funds for set projects. And this is a way for us to access federal money that then offsets the likelihood that these local governments would use local money, local tax dollars. This is keeping your property taxes down by accessing federal money to meet some of these needs. And so we're very happy to have this program to make sure we announce it. We have, as you've heard the last couple of weeks, extensive programs this time of the year, recreational. I want Ken to go over some of them again to remind you to enjoy the park system of Westchester County. Ken.
Thanks, George. And certainly because of the work that we have in our nationally accredited, award-winning park system, we've had so many great events that are going on during this holiday season, and as the county executive pointed out, to make sure to take advantage of them in your park system. So we have Lasden's Park's annual Holidays on the Hill train show. That's going to be open until December 31st. Tickets are on sale. They're only available online at lasdenpark.org, and it features a lot of great things inside the Arboretum, including the trains that go along the 12 multi-level tracks over bridges and tunnels, and it's a visit from Santa as well. County Executive and I did the briefing up there a couple of weeks ago, and certainly got the chance to kick off that particular event at Lasden Park. Certainly Winter Wonderland, the drive-through and holiday light extravaganza that continues on at Kensico Dam Plaza, and it's open most nights through January 1st. It's a drive-through. Again, that happened because of COVID, but because of COVID, we were able to have this wonderful experience with the lights, festival lights that are there at Kensico, as well as Santa in the snow globe. You got to see that in person just to be able to see that. But it's a really great experience, and it's a car full of individuals that will be able to do that. And for the prices of those cars, $25 or $35 per car, depending on the day. And you certainly have an opportunity to have some treat boxes at the end. And all the proceeds from Winter Wonderland go to benefit the Westchester Parks Foundation. And then the Westchester Parks Foundation advocates and invests in all kinds of things that happen inside of our county park system, including Bicycle Sundays. So certainly it's another event that has a twofold purpose. One, to have a wonderful piece of enjoyment and the lights and the great work that's done there at Kensico Dam, but you're also helping to support the Westchester Parks Foundation, which in turn reinvest in the park system. We have Muscoot Farms lights, holiday lights on the farm, and that only takes place Fridays and Saturdays. So December 9th and 10th, that's coming up, the 16th and 17th, and that's from 5 to 8 p.m. The farm's decorated for the holiday and lights. There's a lot of great snacks and crafts, and certainly those tickets for a family of 4 are only $25, and you also can get to those tickets on the muscootfarm.org website or the County Parks website. The nature centers remain open, and our new Lenoir Preserve has a bee exhibit there that's available on Saturdays, and Saturdays only. That's 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that's absolutely free for our county park system there. Cranberry Lake here in North White Plains, Croton Point Park Nature Center, Edith Reed and Sanctuary and Rye, Marshlands Conservatory in Rye, and the Trailside Museum at Ward Pound Ridge, which is up in Cross River. There are also tours that are available that are there as well, and those are free as well. Again, it's a good time to get a great nature walk and have that experience of having a good guided tour that could point out some really great things that are happening inside of our county parks. The golfers still are golfing, even though it was a little bit under the weather from a couple of days ago with the rain. That stops things when we're raining that hard. However, the Dunwoody Golf Course, Hudson Hills, Maple Moor, Mohansick, Saxon Woods, and Spring Lake golf courses are going to be open till December 31st. Weather permitting. There is, county executives pointed out before, no putting out the green ball or orange ball when there's the snow that happens. That may be closed. Make sure you keep a look and take a look at our social media, that we do make sure that the Parks Department make sure to let you know when there's going to be a change or cancellation. For example, Winter Wonderland was canceled when we were having the huge storm last week. But pay attention and make sure to keep doing those things. So Our county park system is celebrating the 100th-year anniversary of the Parks Commission. County Executive pointed out earlier about the boards and commissions. That information for the Parks Board is on our website as well, under the boards and commissions. And all of those boards and commissions still continue to stream, even though they may be in person. They also continue to stream, so you can keep watching from home to be able to participate and listen to those boards and commissions that you may be wanting to watch and see today. The Parks Commission has a traveling show that is for their 100th year anniversary. And right now, that traveling display is at Mountain Lakes, but it will be back in Lasden certainly during the month of December. So right now it's in December, it's in Lasden. Previously it was at Mountain Lakes. It's a great exhibit of all the things that have happened over the 100-year anniversary of the Park Commission, including the birth of Playland and how that thing happened. And I think that is a really important opportunity for you to see that. Around our parks, finally, you get to see those QR codes that are ubiquitous around our world now. And for those of us that don't really like to use those things, you point your camera at it with your smartphone, and it pops up the website. You just press on it, not that hard, but you really to look at the things that are going on in the park system. But for the park system right now, they're doing a survey to get from you information on how we could continue to improve the park system. So when you're around and you see that QR code, it's not you're gonna have to buy something, it's really just to pull up on the website to get your input and make sure that your voice is heard here in the county of Westchester, and certainly we're gonna continue to make sure to move forward with all the things that we have happening in our park system. Take advantage of it. It is a great value for your money. Thanks, George.
Thanks very much, Ken Jenkins, our Deputy County Executive. We want to make sure to remind you of the announcement that beginning this Wednesday, the Beeline bus system goes back to a free fare situation. This will be the third time this year that we've suspended fares on the Beeline bus system. This time it will last for almost 3 weeks until the day after Christmas, December 26th. So no fares on the Beeline bus system beginning on Wednesday and through the 26th. That will take us through the holiday shopping season, Christmas shopping season. Also, the celebration of Hanukkah falls within that period of time as well, and just on the very beginning of the Kwanzaa celebration. And as we did in the week around Thanksgiving, and as we did all summer long from June until Labor Day, we hope this is a benefit for the people that use the bus system. We've seen an increase in bus ridership by doing this, and we recognize that it takes a certain amount of money to run the system, so we do need the fare box. But when this year is over, we will have fully gone a full 4 months without fares on the bus system. And the bus system's open to anybody. If somebody says, well, I don't use the bus system, how come I'm paying for it? You can use the bus system, and you ought to try to see just how you can work this into your schedule and save yourself a little extra time behind the wheel of the car, reduce the amount of pollution by taking some mass transit, and getting the benefit of really a terrific system that we have out there. You'll see that we're converting our bus system, almost close to completing it, from diesel to electric hybrid, or a few all-electric buses, and we're very proud of that. We'll be the first bus system in New York State to reach that threshold, and for a lot of good reasons. So if you have nothing to do between the 7th and the 26th, and you live in Yonkers, get on a bus and go to Yorktown. If you live in Yorktown, get on a bus and go to Yonkers. It's free. And pack a bag, take a friend, and enjoy the scenery of Westchester County as part of that process. Our annual gift drive continues. We had a press conference to launch this last month. It's our 17th annual holiday gift drive, and it goes until December 14th. You can drop off an unwrapped toy, not a violent toy, no guns and stuff, but a toy that would be appropriate at any of the collection boxes that exist. We have 3 of them here in White Plains in DSS office buildings at 85 Court Street and 112 East Post Road. There's a box here at the county office building, 148 Martine Avenue, and then we have them in Mount Vernon, in Yonkers, and in Peekskill at DSS offices as well. These toys will go to children who are homeless, who are foster children, those who are within the DSS family, so that when Christmas morning comes, they too can have a gift to remind them of the special holiday season. We all know how much we appreciated that as kids ourselves, and how much we try to do that for our children, grandchildren, and we're appreciative of the opportunity that Barbara Sabater has brought us all these years in putting this program before us. There is also a way to donate money to the program if you'd like to do that. Checks can be payable to Westchester Child Welfare Holiday Fund. Barbara Sabater is the person to contact and call, and you'd be well to just give her a call. You can call the general number for the county, 995-2000, ask to speak to her, and in DSS, and she'll be happy to give you more details. And we may have on a scroll here some of the other information that's available, just so that you know where we are. I'm going to close out the report by just indicating that, we get issues large and small that come before us in county government, and we try to report on whatever is the most critical issue of the moment. Right now, we're dealing with the Westchester County budget, which is before the Board of Legislators. This being Monday, December 5th, they have generally a long night scheduled tonight. Both Ken and I remember that. He spent 11 years down there. I spent 13, and they didn't overlap. So over that quarter of a century in accumulation, this is the night for final additions to the budget. If the board wants to add any area of spending or any area of revenue, they must add it to the proposed budget by the end of tonight. And then from this point forward, the only actions that they can take would be to delete spending or to delete revenues. Obviously, there's an equation that has to balance out at the end of the process so that we have a balanced budget. And a week from today, the board is scheduled to complete their work on the budget in what we'll expect it to be a session during the day. If the budget is completed during the day on the 12th, depending on how the deliberations go, we would expect to have a signing ceremony that would follow their actions so that we can put the budget to bed and put it into effect. There is the potential to veto a budget or line item veto the budget, and haven't had to use the veto pen yet this year. We'll see exactly what happens on the budget. I reserve the right to do those things, but that does not mean I'm going to do those things. It just depends, and I have to make that judgment based on the final product. I have great respect for my colleagues in the legislature as a product of that legislature, and we'll see where the deliberations go. But they will be having a public hearing later this week, I think on the 7th, and you can check the Board of Legislators website. There's also a major issue of flavored tobacco, which has been passed by the Board of Legislators a week ago. It is on my desk. I have a chartered amount of time to be able to decide on it. It is a controversial issue. Both sides of the issue were argued on the floor of the legislature, and I'm taking due time on this one to make sure I understand all the arguments for and against. I welcome anyone who wants to send me an email in support or in opposition, Latimer@westchestergov.com. I have not made a decision as to what I'm going to do, and I'm not trying to play this for all it's worth, but this is a serious decision that has ramifications if I do sign it and it becomes law, or if it's vetoed and the legislature has to revisit the issue. So I want to take my time, do deliberance as has been given me the opportunity to do that. And so those two issues are on the table right now of some import. Let me mention some smaller issues that have come up as I close out the report, which we've been able to resolve. And none of these may seem that important to you where you live, but to somebody somewhere, it's pretty darn important. We were contacted by folks in the town of North Castle. The Councilwoman Barbara De Giacinto, who represents the town, and other members of the board, including the supervisor, Mike Shalero, about the rehabilitation of a monument that's on Route 22, on the west side of Route 22, between the hamlet of Armonk and the hamlet of North White Plains. It's a Reuben Wright mill site, a statue that designates that there was an important mill that was there before the Kensico Dam was created, which flooded the village or the hamlet of Kensico that is actually under the water, sort of like Atlantis, I guess. And that monument had fallen into disrepair at the request of local residents of North White Plains, and then the town and the county got together, and we've rehabilitated the monument. It does not have an appropriate area to stop and to enjoy it. You will see it if you're going southbound on your right-hand side. If you're going northbound, across the dividing line to your left-hand side. But the county was able to go in, tackle that project, and complete a rehabilitation in concert with the town. We have in White Plains an issue that came up on Central Avenue with a bus shelter that a woman who was homeless and had some other needs in her circumstances, had chosen to live there on a 24-hour basis. And of course, the bus stop isn't designed for that, certainly not in the cold weather. And we don't want people, whatever their circumstances are, to be living outside in the cold. That's inhumane. And in some cases, we have to work with them because the laws do not allow us just arbitrary ability to pick people up and move them around, even if we think we're doing it in their best interests. At the same time, the bus stop is there for a public purpose, and that is to be a place of shelter for people that are waiting for the bus. It was not intended to be somebody's residence. And so we were able to work through that problem, resolve it. She now has appropriate housing that will satisfy her needs and the services, very importantly, that she needs to deal with the issues in her life. And we've been able to reopen the bus stop for its natural purpose. And there are people in Greenburgh and White Plains, right around that location on Central Avenue, that advocated for it. The county was able to jump in and do its job. We had a couple of small parcels on either side of Playland Parkway, north of Playland Parkway and south of Playland Parkway in the city of Rye, where small little pieces of repavement were needed to handle some logistical problems. On the south side of the parkway, a parking lot that serviced a convenience store, a closed gas station, and a luncheonette. And on the north side of the parkway, an exit from a private road out onto Playland Parkway. In each case, there was some small reconstructive pavement that was needed. We accomplished the task. The neighbors are happy, and the county responded to the issue as it came up. And I was just on a Zoom call today at lunch for a group called Communities That Care in the Ossining community. And as the people were there, sort of in that Hollywood Squares kind of look when you're on the Zoom call, two issues came up that the county had resolved satisfactorily. One of them was establishing a mental health response team presence, a gentleman by the name of David Warnock, who is working based out of Ossining to help provide that support in that community. There are 7 other communities that have mental health crisis team locations, and they serve the whole county based out of one area, then they handle adjacent communities. And the appreciation of this group for having his service, and then also appreciation for the county and our role of helping Ossining establish a youth bureau. We have a number of communities with very robust youth bureaus. White Plains, Mount Vernon, Yonkers come to mind, but a number of communities that didn't. And so the county's involvement through Dr. Damia Harris-Madden, who chairs our county youth bureau, involved in Portchester and Ossining, to name 2 communities. There's others that needed to develop a youth bureau. It's not a simple process, and we were able to be helpful to them, and they were very grateful to it. So these are small bore issues. These aren't the kind of things that everybody stops and their breath is taken away by the scope of government, but they are constituent type problems that have been resolved. And if there's anything that I think makes me feel comfortable, it's not the recognition we get. We don't really care a lot about that. Frankly, I mean, I don't have police driving me around all the time. I don't worry a lot about the Royal Imperial being a county executive. I do like to see us fix Memorial Field. I do like to see it when we open Springbridge pools or fix the Miller House or Memorial Field, the New Rochelle Family Court, when we're able to do things of substance that are valuable to people. And even if it's something as small as rehabilitating an historic site or paving an area that's been unpaved, we think that is government responding to people. And hopefully that's what we can continue to do during our time frame. So with that, we've covered the ground that we needed to cover for today. We know that next week what we may be doing in this time slot is dealing with the signing of the county budget. We'll see. And if that isn't ready for showtime at 2 o'clock next Monday, then we'll report on whatever there is to report at that point in time. My intent on the flavored tobacco is to report to you on Tuesday, December 13th in this format to let you know what decisions have been made and then where we go from here on that. The budget is complicated, deserves full attention of everybody, but we will deal with both of these 2 issues in a timely fashion. With that, we thank you for watching. If any members of the press want to reach out to us, they can contact our communications department. Carolyn Fortino is with us here in the room. Catherine Chaffee, our Director of Communications, at 995-2932 is a great point of contact. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you get started on your Christmas shopping, and I usually wait till the last minute. You're a little better than me. You're a little more diligent. But we hope you have a wonderful holiday season and enjoy it over the next few weeks, and we'll see you soon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Have a great day.